For question 12, express this fraction into a partial fraction form. So our first step is going to identify this fraction, is it proper or improper. So we can see here, numerator part is quadratic. Denominator part also quadratic. They are same ranking. So for proper fraction, it must be smaller ranking than the denominator part. So if here is quadratic, here also quadratic, so this fraction is improper. When we have improper, we cannot express it to the partial fraction directly. We have to do our long division and find out where's the proper part. Then the proper part only can do in partial fractions. So here we're going to do our long division where x squared going to divide by the divisor here, x squared plus 3x plus 2. So what I need a number of 1. And we expand it. So you notice that x squared is already divided. When the x squared minus x squared is 0. So 0 minus 3 become negative. Here 0 minus 2 it become negative 2. So from here, our fractions x squared over x squared plus 3x plus 2, it will equal to quotient 1, and then the remainder part is negative 3x negative 2 divided by our divisor here. So we will let our divisor here in fraction form. Now you can identify where's the proper. So original this fraction is improper, but after we doing our long division, we can notice our remainder part here become a proper fraction, where we can read our numerator is a linear and our denominator is a quadratic. So numerator is ranking smaller than, the power is smaller than quadratic power. So linear is power 1, quadratic is power 2. So when its numerator power is less than power at denominator, then this will be a proper. So this is the fraction that can be undergoes into partial fractions. So this is our first step, how we get to the proper fraction. Then we go for second step, where our divisor here, it should be in the factor form. So we can see our divisor here, which is x squared plus 3x plus 2. It should be expressed in factor form because our partial fraction will split according to the factors. So for this quadratic, we factorize it. It will be in the form of x plus 1 factor and x plus 2. Then we proceed to express out our partial fraction. So we take the remainder part here, which is the proper fraction here, negative 3x minus 2, and then put in our factor form of our divisor, which is x plus 1, x plus 2, and we start to make it into a partial fraction. We start to split it according to its factor. So I have two factors here. So one fraction is made up from the denominator x plus 1, another fraction is made up from the denominator x plus 2. So after we split according to its factor, we're going to identify what is the unknown here. Is it constant or linear? So when we have linear factor, we will have constant above here. Because you always remember for partial fraction, the fraction involving here is proper. So when we have linear, we must have a smaller ranking, which is a constant. So same as here, when we have a linear factor here, we must have a smaller ranking, which is a constant b. So after we express this proper fraction into the partial fraction, we're going to build out our equation. We equal the numerator part, where a need to time with x plus 2. This is a factor that it don't have. And then b time with x plus 1. So from this equation, that will help us to find out what is our value a and b. So we have two unknown here. We need to let it 2 times. we need to let it 2 times. So we will choose the value of roots where x can be equals to -1 and x can be equals to -2 in order to help us to find the value of a and b easily. So we substitute our -1 inside here. We will get 1. And we substitute -1 here, we get 3a. Negative, when we substitute here, because it is a root, they become zeros. So a is equal to 1 over 3. Oh, sorry, this one, -1 plus 2. So -1 plus 2 is equal to 1a. So a will equal to 1. So we proceed for x equals to -2. When we substitute x equals to -2 equals to 4. So substitute here 0, substitute here -b. So b is equal to -4. Therefore, lastly, we're going to express our fraction in partial fraction. So we will start back to the original fraction here, which is improper here. X squared over x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals our quotient equals to 1. So for this part, we will substitute this partial fraction inside, where our a is 1. So it will become 1 over x plus 1. When the b is -4. So here it will become -4 over x plus 2. So negative, positive become negative. So I take out the negative to put here. So what is very important here for the first one, of course, will be our first step, identify the improper fraction and do the long division in order to get back proper fraction. So this is our basic. For the blue color here, this is our basic, doing long division to write in the reminder form. And then here will be our concept, how to split out our factor and apply our a and b. Then concept of solving, finding a and b by letting it 2 times to get the answer of ab. So finally, we have to express back into the original fraction, which is the improper part here. So by substitute this part to the partial fraction. So this is how we score our 5 marks.